Speaking of doing the protocol correctly, or even just the flax oil and cottage cheese or quark, there is a lot of bad information out there.
You're absolutely right about that. I'll shake my head sometimes when I hear what people are putting in the flax oil and cottage cheese. That was never part of the protocol, and most likely knocking out the electrical charge of the mixture. That's why I provided the correct information in the resource page so people can do this correctly and get started immediately. If you have a loved one which is very sick and having difficulty in eating, go to the resource page and click on the tab Transition to the Budwig Diet. This can be used for several days, and then as the person gets stronger, they can transition over to the flax oil and cottage cheese, or even they can alternate both. The Budwig transition diet involves feeding the cancer patients a watery oatmeal gruel with ground up flaxseed for a few days, along with some juices, until they are able to start eating the cottage cheese and flax oil combination. Just read through the recipe on how to make this. Dr. Budwig has a diet plan that's available in her cookbook, the Oil Protein Diet Cookbook. It can be purchased through Amazon.com if anyone's interested in purchasing it.
So Mike, you're not using the actual Budwig oil protein diet in the Select Budwig protocol, are you?
I'm only using certain parts of our protocol. Some juices in the transition diet were initially needed, flax oil and cottage cheese, and some of the diet is outlined, no alcohol. I'll talk more about this later in the series.
Okay, so I know that you've read through most of Dr. Budwig's books. Is there anything else that you found of interest which Dr. Budwig expanded on as it relates to her protocol?
Dr. Budwig was a wealth of information. She stated most people begin the protocol gradually, adding healthy foods and liquids and eliminating the damaging ones.
Well, that makes sense, as it'd be hard for most people to just change overnight.
The diet seems simple, but foods are powerful and can damage or heal a person. Dr. Budwig claimed her protocol has over a 90% success rate with all kinds of cancer patients, not to mention the non-cancer patients, which are using it for different health issues in one manner or another. She pointed out many research studies support the cancer-fighting value of the foods, juices, sun exposure, and relaxation, which she recommended. There are a lot of testimonials out there of people who have regained their health by following this protocol after being diagnosed with cancer, many of whom were terminal. Some additional information that she pointed out was the importance of sunshine. She said sun on the skin is very helpful for creating vitamin D and other benefits, but avoid burning. If you feel up to having some exercise, individualize it according to your strength and never overdo it. Dr. Budwig did not push the idea of exercise. She felt that one needs to rest to heal. So take caution. For those who can exercise, I would suggest doing this in moderation. Walking and a rebounder are also beneficial for the lymph system, heart, and circulation. Some of the more stronger patients, I would highly suggest moderation, and do not push yourself to the max in exercising or even close. Just use some good common sense when you're out there exercising. Dr. Budwig mentioned relaxation in the sun, if possible, to relieve stress. There's healing, nature, music, chat, laughter. On days when you cannot be in the sun, high quality cold-pressed cod liver oil offers vitamin D's and other benefits.
Well, that's part of the Select Budwig protocol, the cod liver oil.
Good observation. Dr. Budwig stressed that it's very important to avoid unhealthy foods and substances, such as hydrogenated fats, animal fats, sugar, white flour, preservatives, chemicals, and processed foods. She also said avoid leftovers. Food should be prepared fresh and eaten soon after preparation to get the health-giving electrons and enzymes within 15 to 20 minutes. She also said avoid stress and anxiety. Take time to relax and enjoy each day. Listen to beautiful music. Laugh. Do deep breathing. Connect with nature. And spend time with people you like. Dr. Budwig spoke about the damaging effects of stress.
Is that why you get to spend some time with me?
I feel very fortunate in this.
Well, good. That's some really good information, Mike.
I thought so.
Okay, so you mentioned that you've read through the first 3 books of Dr. Budwig's that are translated from German to English. Could you share that information as well?
My favorite of the 3 books is Flax Oil as a True Aid Against Arthritis, Heart Infarction, Cancer, and Other Diseases. And it can be purchased from Amazon And she has another one, the Oil Protein Diet Cookbook, can also be purchased through Amazon.com. Another one that she had written was Cancer, the Problem and the Solution, and it can also be purchased through the same website.
Okay. So any additional information that you would like to mention in regards to Dr. Budwig's research or her diet plan before we move forward?
I think to close out on Dr. Budwig, I want to mention if anyone chooses to use just the Budwig protocol, the entire diet and very detailed information can be found at budwig-videos.com. Be very careful that you enter the correct website, as you must have a hyphen between Budwig and videos or you'll end up in the wrong website.
Okay, I mean, that's some great information. So I have a few follow-up questions for you. I mean, so in your opinion, is the Budwig protocol the answer to cancer? And is this kind of the magic bullet that everyone's been looking for to get cancer into remission?
I really wish it were the magic bullet, as you put it. I personally see it as another pathway to healing. And let me re-emphasize, a major pathway to healing one's body from almost any chronic or terminal disease.
Well, I know that you mentioned the flax oil chat group in the past and the website Budwig Videos. How many years have you been monitoring this group and the questions coming in daily, testimonials, etc.? And what is really the success rate of the Budwig protocol?
Sure. I monitored that group for over 10 years before I stopped, and have read several thousand posts of people using the protocol. First off, I don't agree with the 90% success rate claimed, as there are way too many variables, and these cancers are presently more aggressive than ever. I've seen in many cases the protocol work well, and many others where it should have worked and it didn't. That's the point where I started questioning, why isn't this protocol working in many of the posts I was reading? In the back of my mind at that time, I was saying to myself, what else is missing in this protocol when it was not working?
I mean, so what are your thoughts on some of the cases where it isn't working?
It's like putting a puzzle together. Something was missing. Budwig claimed a 90% success rate, but I don't recall any of her thoughts why in 10% of the cases this protocol didn't work. She didn't talk about it in any of the books I'd read. I don't believe, as I already mentioned, that the protocol is producing a 90% success rate, but you don't know what people are doing to foul up the protocol. If someone's foolish enough to put something in the flax oil and cottage cheese that's not recommended in her protocol, for example, water, protein powders, it can knock out the electrical charge created by the combination, and the person would never know it until it was too late. I believe the issue of the protocol not working in many of the cases is related to a lack of additional elements that are not available in the protocol, which may be needed in addition by the body, that's not part of her protocol. This is a major issue, which I believe I've addressed very well in the Select Budwig protocol, which I wrote. I believe at times when the Budwig protocol is not working, there's an inability of the protocol to shock the body's autonomic nervous system sufficiently enough to get it back into working properly, jumpstart it, as an additional elements may be needed that are not part of her protocol. It can also be the body's been too badly damaged by chemotherapy and radiation treatments, which have severely damaged the body's DNA sequencing, which I will talk about later in the series in much greater detail. Simply put, knocking out the body's cell memory, and in these instances, the best I believe a person can hope for is a better quality of life. But it's up to God what happens to each of us.
So how does a person know if cell memory has been knocked out, to use your wording?
You don't know, as only God knows that one. The person needs to put the elements back into the body and see if the body will recognize the elements and start the healing process. It's simple, just do it and see how the body responds.
Well, that's the famous line from the Nike commercials, right? I mean, just do it. It makes sense.
Yes, I guess it is.
Okay, so the next step in this healing journey that we're on, which we just covered in great detail, would be the addition of the flax oil and cottage cheese into the daily regimen. It would get the electron-rich oils, the omega-3 fatty acids, deep into the body to begin the healing process, regardless of the chronic or terminal health issue. The body must have these oils, and it's very apparent that this is the most powerful way to do it.
That's absolutely correct.
I guess we would call this step 2 in the protocol. So I just want to remind everyone that step 1 we previously covered would be the juicing protocol.
Yes, I'd like to point out here, if a person would like to do only the complete Budwig protocol, you'll find the information in the resource page of my website. her books on the website, budwig-videos.com, which I already mentioned. That is an option outside of using Select Budwig and has worked well in many cases, but not all.